Welcome back. Thanks again for joining us here at From Laid Off to Living. And I expect since you've been here last time, you've continued on this emotional journey that certainly is challenging. So today I want to talk a little bit more about that journey and give you a sneak preview of what you can learn in the book and with the program, but you're also experiencing yourself. And what I've done in this whole journey is describe this as a change model. Now, interestingly enough, change is something we do all the time in every aspect of our life. So, you know what? You're already good at it. Maybe it doesn't feel like you are right now because this is a big one and you didn't expect it, but you're good at it. So, I'm going to help you remember what you know about managing or your life change and apply it to what you're experiencing now. And we're going to break this down into three phases. The first phase is the was, the second is the is, and the third is the will be. So if you don't remember anything else, just remember those words and it'll conjure up what goes with that. So what's the was? Well, what the was is, good thing I'm an English major so I can figure out how to say this. But anyway, what the was is the idea that you have to let go of what used to be. Now, those of us who've lived life, as you well know, and you've experienced, you've had to let go of other things in your life. You've had to let go of different people. You might have had to let go of other places that you've lived. Letting go means that you're going to start into the grief process. And the first part of that is the denial. Now, some of you, like Jim, might have noticed that things were going on in the company that were different, that there were kind of maybe closed door conversations, maybe less communication, maybe this whole thing with COVID in your situation or other situations created a kind of quiet zone that wasn't common. But all of a sudden, there's noise, and the noise is things are changing. So, what happens when we're in denial is we don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that things might be going on. So, we stop listening and pretending that it's not going to change. But that really doesn't help us because what happens next is the reality hits us. And that's really kind of that experience of kind of shock. It opens up, and oh my goodness, here it is. And for many of us, that turns into anger because it's so surprising. We just kind of go right into it. We go into our anger and say, this can't be happening to me. And it's very difficult because we end up taking that anger with us different places, with our family, with our friends. And it also can tend to shut us down a bit. In fact, that's what happened to Jim. Even though he had tried to manage this change, when he heard that his position or that he was not going to be able to come back to work, he froze. His anger turned into literally frozen. And he spent pretty much 2 days in his truck, not really knowing what to do, not really feeling like he could do anything. And maybe of you have felt that, perhaps not as extreme as Jim, but felt it. And that's kind of that heavy duty emotion of this isn't really happening to me. I'm starting to feel angry and I don't know what to do with it. So, interestingly enough, though, we have to learn what that anger is about. And that's what this program and book teach you. How do you experience that anger? How do you deal with it? Because then we can also kind of fool ourselves and we can bargain. And this happened to Jim as well. He started to feel a little bit of that. And then he started to say, well, King's X, maybe if I go back and I'm willing to work different shifts and I can do this and I can do that, then I can join the team again. But guess what? That was kind of a King's X. We're saying it doesn't really work, but we think it's going to work. And then finally, we start moving into sadness. And that's a tough place. That's especially if you leave a situation where people don't stay in touch. You know, when I left that situation, no one called me, no one talked to me. I was like somehow, untouchable. And that puts us in that very sad and kind of lonely place where we can't really feel connected to anybody. It has a big impact on our life too, because it may spill out in our family, it may spill out with our friends. So here we are, now we're feeling all these emotions and we don't know what to do with them. And so part of what we learn through the journey of From Laid Off to Living is how do I actually deal with all those emotions? How do I honor them? How do I express them? How do I move through them? How do I move out of them? So I can finally get to what's next, which is acceptance. Now, acceptance isn't, yahoo, I'm so glad that happened to me. I think that's a TV program. That's not real life. What most people say is acceptance feels like I got it. It happened. I got it. It happened. I'm done with it. And that takes a little while to settle. And then one day you wake up and the sun's shining in your life and you say, I'm ready. I'm ready to go out. I'm ready to jump in. Now, the sad truth is some of us jump before we're ready, right? Some of you who got laid off or who ended up not having a position after the COVID crisis started is you jumped right into something else. And you're in it maybe now even half-heartedly because you're still feeling the emotions that went with that first transition. You're going to meet down the road a little bit here a woman named Siobhan. In fact, maybe next time you'll meet her. And she actually got laid off twice. And she'll tell you a little bit about what she tried to do to kind of compensate for the emotions that she didn't want to feel. So the truth is here that this journey of from laid off to living means we really do need to go through each of those emotions and trust that if we actually experience them, actually feel them, actually resolve them, guess what? Then when you're in the new spot, you're not echoing that over and over and over and over. And those of you who lived a life with a lot of change know that that's true too, right? Because you've had other losses and other changes, and the ones that you actually work through, you don't have to keep reliving, right? And our goal here is for you to build that energy back up so you go back out in the workplace and you're able to enjoy yourself and thrive and feel creative and energetic, whatever you choose to do. So let's remember that going through the tough stuff enables you to end up in the place that feels good and rewarding. Now, some of you are going to say, well, that sounds kind of Pollyannish. Okay, give it a go. Why don't you try it? Test me. Test the system, test the process. Put away your cynicism for just a minute and jump in with us, okay? Come on in. Come on into the program, come on into the group. And if it helps you, I think then you'll be able to say to others, don't be afraid. Because sometimes being cynical is just another way of saying, I'm afraid. I get it, but it's time to let go of that. It's time to go on with this and jump on the journey with us. And next time we get together, you'll meet Siobhan, who has, as I said, been laid off twice and ended up, guess what she's doing? Career coaching and consulting with organizations in a big career move change for her that has just turned beautiful. So look forward to meeting Siobhan. In the meantime, please remember what we talked about and check out the program and see if we can get you going. Okay? Thanks. Take good care.